McAfee. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Gary. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you on. Scheduled tonight for a 6 p.m. game against Loyola Chicago at Rhodes Stadium. What's the weather looking like? I'm asking you what the weather's looking like because I know you're on top of it. You think we'll be able to get this game in tonight?
Well, we're going to wait as long as possible because Loyola's already
here,
in town.
right.
They're on spring break. So that's a bonus for us because, they're not traveling. So we're going to wait, and hopefully we'll get it in because a lot of the weather guys we've talked to said it might be clearing by 5, so we can get it in if that's the case.
Yeah, that's the word. Word is it's going to be out here this afternoon.
Yeah, they're 14-0, so we really want to play them.
That's where I was going with my next question. I'm scheduled to do the game tonight, and of course, the first thing that jumps out at you is a bunch of W's.
I really want us to play then if you're doing the game.
Yeah, I definitely want to get one in. It's but that's right. All you notice are W's on the schedule, and of course, being based in Chicago, they've been on this southern swing, and boy, they've beaten everybody that they've lined up against so far.
Yeah, they've. It's I don't know when their coach emailed me probably a year ago and said, "Hey, we're coming down to a tournament. Can we stop by?" And because I think they're on their way to Ole Miss for another tournament, and then they head home. So we love, playing new teams, different teams, and like tomorrow night's Valpo, and that's another different team. But they're all on spring break, and they've seen our facility on TV, and it's kind of a cool opportunity for their kids and their program to play here. So we definitely want to play them.
Your squad has been, dynamic so far. A lot of new parts, kind of, replacing a lot of really great players from a year ago. But the only 2 losses we know at Lafayette, and of course, a lot of people are going to lose down there. But otherwise, you're 19-2, 3 really good pitchers. As we said, some new parts in the lineup. Just give us a scouting report on your club so far to this point.
Well, I really like where we're at. One unfortunate thing was on, I guess it was Saturday when Maddie was pitching. She did get smacked in the face with a helmet covering home plate. Got the girl out. She was a big-time champion about it because she wasn't going to let that girl get in. And she's got a concussion, so she's probably out for the week, which is unfortunate because she was doing well. Her and Sydney combined for a no-hitter in that game. But everybody else is pretty healthy, and Sydney Littlejohn and Alexis Osorio have been just unbelievable. It's almost like a Greg Maddux, Smoltz, Glavin type, pitching staff. I think people are batting under, it's like .078 against Lexi, and Sydney's given up only 2 earned runs the entire season. So to watch them pitch has just been unbelievable, and they are very, very good at what they do, and I hope both of them keep it up. And I know Maddie can get even better because she showed signs this weekend, and then unfortunately she got hurt. And then offensively, the 2 biggies on Saturday or Sunday was 2 freshmen. Claire Jenkins was 3 for 4, and Gabby Calloway was 2 for 4, but had 4 RBIs, and they were hitting in the 8 and 9 spot. And you got to love it when 8 and 9 go 5 for 8 with 4 RBIs. And then Reagan Dykes really came around. I told the team afterwards it was our 21st game, and I looked right at her and I said, "Do you feel good about yourself today?" And she said, "Absolutely." And that's the life of a hitter in baseball and softball. It's an absolutely tough game, and it took her 21 games to feel comfortable. And she was 3 for 4, hit a home run, and really looked like her old self. In the 4th at bat, she lined out hard to the left fielder, and she made a hell of a play. So she would have been 4 for 4. But I think she just feels good about hitting the ball hard again. And her home run was right next to the scoreboard, so she got all of that. And it's going to be it's getting tougher and tougher to make the lineup, to tell you the truth.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the pitching, and I know that gives you a chance to win every time you go out with that kind of staff, and a lot of zeros on your schedule so far for the opposition. But you're right. When the offense comes along and looking at some recent, games, you had 7 runs against Jacksonville, 10 against Drake, 4 against a really good Stanford staff. 6 in the game against Drake before that, 10 against Jacksonville. So as you said, these younger players are getting integrated into your lineup. And, of course, I guess a lot of teams can say this, but when you have that type of pitching, if you hit, you're going to be a tough out for anybody.
Exactly. And I challenged them after Friday night when Lexi had the 18 strikeouts against Stanford, or Saturday, to match the pitchers' performances, because they have been great except for maybe one outing at Lafayette. And I said, why can't the hitters rise to the occasion like the pitchers are? So Sunday I was pleased. It was a little slow to begin with, but then we piled it on. And their kid threw a good game, but, it was really fun to see Gabby hit her first home run. So all the 3 of the 4 freshmen have already hit their first home run, kind of got that out of the way. But there's other kids in the lineup. And, really, when you play a game, you're hoping for 3 kids to have a good game. And then the defense and the pitching take care of the rest. Because if you have 3 kids hit the ball well, you're going to score some runs. And it was Reagan, Claire, and Gabby. And Reagan was sitting in the 7th spot. So 7, 8, and 9 did basically all the damage on Sunday. And it really helped that all 3 were back-to-back to back. But then you need a couple walks and, whatever, and there'll be people on base. And then those kids that are hot that day, they need to drive them in. And that's usually the winning formula.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, that's for sure. Well, you get Loyola Chicago tonight, as we mentioned, 14-0. Valpo tomorrow night, and then, boy, it's hard to believe, but SEC play is upon you. You get to open up at home this weekend versus Arkansas for 3 games. All games are important, but I know there's always a heightened sense of awareness when you go into league play, regardless of what you've done to that point. In some ways, it's a brand new season, isn't it, Coach?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, Arkansas was 1-23, I think, in the league last year. They're 17-1 now.
Holy cow.
And yeah, so they used to be the pushover, and now they won 17 games all of last season. I think they're 17-1. Is that what I said?
Yeah, 17-1.
Sorry, my numbers are getting confused. But anyway, they've already won as many games as they did last year, and we haven't even started SEC play. So I know they're having a great year. Ole Miss is ranked 22. Mississippi State has won 14 in a row. So it's like everybody is good, and really the worst record is Missouri, and he's played the toughest schedule. So I think he's like 9-5 or 9-6, but he's played the most ranked teams of anybody in the league, and it's going to be a tough SEC for sure, because there's no pushovers at any time.
Meat grinder. I mean, it's just unbelievable, this conference. I mean, you're right. You look at Arkansas last year was kind of a bottom dweller, and now they're, what they've become. When you go into a schedule, and of course a lot of these girls are freshmen, so they don't know, but you know how good Arkansas has become, but I know a lot of your players remember them, as you said, as a team last year that struggled. Is that a special challenge? I know it's SEC play, but at the same time, to get them ready to say, hey, this isn't the Arkansas team that people have, seen in the past.
What might help us is they were a bye team last year for us. So we played them 2 years ago up there. So a lot of our kids haven't even seen them. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, because all I have to do is put their record up. And then I think they lead the league in home runs as well. So that's going to be easy, I think. And, one of our biggest things, especially in SEC play, but we want to protect our home turf. And it's difficult enough to get a win on the road, but we need to win all our series at home. And it starts with them. And next weekend we have to go to state. I think the next weekend we come home. I really like our schedule because it's every other week is home and away. I don't think we have a week where we're, or 2 weeks in a row where we're away, which will really help us. So it works out pretty good. And the other thing that helped us this year is the only one we have to fly to is Missouri. So as some of your listeners may or may not know, we play 8 opponents in the SEC. There's 13 teams that play. Vanderbilt doesn't have softball. So we play 24 conference games, and every year when the league does the schedule, you drop 4 teams. So you don't play 4 teams. And this year it's A&M, Florida, Georgia, and Kentucky. And then next year, for sure, we would play all those 4 and then drop just a random 4 again.
Right.
And then you just keep doing that. So it doesn't really matter who we're playing this year because everybody's good.
Visiting with Patrick Murphy, head coach of the Alabama softball team, 19-2, hosting Loyola Chicago tonight at 6 p.m. at the Rhodes House, as we've both just stated. Weather looks pretty good for this evening, so it's a very good chance we'll get that game in, so plan on getting out there to the ballpark. Speaking of home field advantage, we know the reputation of the Rhodes House. We know the attendance numbers. It's a fact. This is the best home field advantage in collegiate softball. And you play a lot of games, but as we said, you get into conference play, and I guess your anticipation is that once again this year, you're going to be the attendance leader in collegiate softball with the best fans in the country and quite a home schedule in the conference.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why we went to Lafayette, because we knew they'd have a great crowd, and I wanted to play a 3-game series. We did that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Unfortunately, we had to play the doubleheader on Saturday because of rain on that Friday. But we got 2 days of nonstop yelling against us. And I thought it was really good for our team to experience that, because that's what we're going to see week in and week out in the SEC when we go on the road. But now we get to hear it for rooting for us instead of against us. And I think that's just an extra, it's like a motivator. Just playing at home in front of your own fans, get to sleep in your own bed, and the familiar settings of where you want to eat, everything. There's a lot that goes into it that a lot of people don't realize, what's such a positive to play at home. And that's why it's so difficult in any sport, really, to play on the road. And I don't care what sport it is. And if you get a win on the road in an SEC environment, it's a pretty big feat.
Finally, Coach, you mentioned Maddie Moore, concussion protocol. I guess it's just very simply when the doctors clear her to come back, right?
Yep, and she takes her little test every day, and the trainer does it, and she has to get her numbers down to where it needs to be. And Haley had to go through that last year when she got hit in the back of the head with a pitch at UAB, and she was out a full 7 days. So it's not something that you mess around with, for sure. And I texted Maddie yesterday. She felt a lot better, but still, I don't think she'll be available. Maybe Sunday, but I don't know. Not until then.
Well, folks, it's a great stretch to catch Alabama softball coming off the Easton Crimson Classic Championship. At home tonight at 6 against Loyola Chicago. At home tomorrow night at 6 against Valpo. Then this weekend, SEC play begins at home. 6:30 Friday night against Arkansas. 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon against Arkansas, and then 1:30 the series finale on Sunday. Winthrop and Georgia Southern are in here next Wednesday for a doubleheader for the Tide. Bama will take on Winthrop at 3:30, then Georgia Southern at 6. Then it's on the road to Mississippi State. So this is a good stretch of home games, including conference play, for the fans to get out there. We'll see you tonight, Coach, at the ballpark. Good luck.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Gary. Have a great day.